Welcome back to part 26 of Neptunia VIIR, where today we're hunting down the Demon King for realsies, as he's been spotted at his bizarre arcade, so Netgear and Vert are going to be heading out to try and see if they can find him. Thankfully, it means that there's not that many cutscenes in this part. It's going to be mostly going through the dungeon, so I actually get some breathing room to talk as we start this new week. I say this like, there's a part of me that might, depending on how it goes, because now it's edited together, I'm going to be left with one over part on a week following my 5-a-week upload, so I might try and squeeze in a sick video one of these weeks before I get there, just then it can wrap up on a Friday still. So, this is the dungeon where the Demon King is supposedly hiding. There's a possibility we might be assaulted by a group of monsters like before, so let's prepare ourselves for the worst. Right! There are a lot of monsters here in Games Vision, and it's another arcade style dungeon just with a different layout. And like I'll keep saying, I don't mind it being a same theme but with a different layout, because it beats just reusing the exact same layout again like the first 3 games did. But they've got better with it as the series has gone on, but the original game was god awful with it. The second game was only a little bit better. The third game thankfully was mostly better. It was more when you were exploring optional dungeons you saw the same theming again. And now in this one, I don't think that you get a single repeat. You get the same themes shared, but you don't get a single repeat, so that's very enjoyable. But we do have a lot of new enemies here, including more different variants of baby bugs, more different variants of the bits, more different variants of standard enemies, but it's the same 5 or 6 enemies and just made slightly different variants of them for the 4 episodes. Since like all 4 of them go through the same amount of difficulty per se, well, around about. When we get to Neptune's, I'll highlight that Neptune's first proper dungeon is surprisingly tough if you're not prepared for it. But I think because it was the 4 episode structure, they just kind of decided to stick with having the same sort of enemies, just slightly different elemental attacks and elemental resistance and weaknesses to fit whatever the 4 goddesses you were playing at that point. As we destroy more billboards of NPCs that are no longer a part of the series, because I think they were from Ultra Dimensions NPCs. And to be fair, this dungeon's not too bad. Thankfully, there's no real annoying secrets hidden. Well, that like compared to the first arcadey dungeon where you had to try and climb up and you didn't have a higher jump, so it was really annoying to do. Which, to be fair, we're about like 10 or so parts away from actually getting our jump upgrade, because it's a plot thing. Once you defeat a certain boss, you unlock it as a part of a plot. You unlock Jumping Star, which is the name of the upgrade that unlocks it. So we're not too far away per se from getting it. We will have it before the end of Act 2, because you have to. It's for a plot based boss. It's not like an optional upgrade like some of the other stuff we'll be getting. There's 2 optional platformy only dungeons called Neplunker, which we'll get to later on, but both of them, if you defeat them, unlock a special ability that's completely optional because the dungeons are optional. So I do have every intention of showing off both of the Neplunker dungeons, and I want to because they're kind of a pain in the ass to beat if you don't know how it works. And so I want to show how they actually function compared to how the game tells you it functions, because it's not 100% the same. And it will screw you over the first time round because you won't be used to it. What you should be focusing and how you should be handling it to get through. Also, we get the Dio Slicer for Netgear, and you can't not just think of JoJo when you see Dio, but whatever. I say that, I've never actually sat down to watch JoJo. I've just put up with it in terms of memes for way too long. Also, off screen I leveled up the scouts. You do that by getting the energy mates you get for upping the... I forget which one of the 3 it is, but when you up stuff in the town, like in the city centre, I think it's public relations that give you energy mate for it as well. And you use the energy mate to level them up. Later on you can just buy them, but for now they want you to be a bit more conservative about how you upgrade them, so you don't get to go fully wild with it. As we encounter more enemies, more cats, more billboards of ex-Ultra Dimension NPCs. You know, I hope in the 5th game they find an excuse to make us travel to all the dimensions so far. Like, I doubt they would, but it'd be cool if they managed to squeeze in Super Dimension, but getting them to acknowledge Super Dimension is like getting Capcom to acknowledge Devil May Cry 2. It's not really ever going to happen. Also, this secret where you can jump over, kind of doesn't doesn't help you, because you give up exploring the rest of that area because this door just skips you to the next area. So you're gonna see me go through the door that you're supposed to travel to get here from to check it out. There's nothing there, I don't think, or nothing of real worth. No, actually there is, that you can see right in front of me. There's 2 treasure chests. Yeah, you can see them, they're there. So you need to go backtrack and get these anyway. Because over there is just some enemies. Which, looking at my recording, there's no splits, so I didn't bother go fighting them. Because I have a split in the recording, because I just record it in big chunks like normal. And then I split and cut so I can cut out the fights against enemies we've already done. Also, we get a green sailor costume for Nepgear. Which it kind of makes her look like a scout girl. Like she's part of like a Girl Scout club sort of thing. But I don't mind it. It's better than a standard white, I suppose. It kind of suits her in a sense of like it is that kind of innocent, childish colour that represents the innocent, kind of childish Nepgear. Even if it's just crossed my mind that the reason why it's green is because we're in Vert's Nation, which has a theme colour of green. Like, I see what you did there as we get Rainy Run 2. How is it I can say Cathalicstern, but I can't say Rasputin? English, how do I speak? Also, we got another portrait enemy, the Valentine's variant. There's still a few more of these yet to go, but I'll show off what Rainy Run Rasputin looks like. Well, if you're playing this game, as the enemy just screamed, I want to bring attention to, and it is a criticism on the audio department, if you kill more than one enemy at the same time and you don't skip it, it will play their death like their death scream. It's only if you hold R2 or L2 even to skip, you then hear it, kind of thing. If you kill multiple enemies in a single strike, instead of making it just play the same clip twice or just play one and be done with it, no, it will up the volume of it. They will stack up volume-wise. So if you kill like a small group of the same enemy, prepare to get deafened because it will get stupid loud when they stream. Thankfully, I haven't managed to get that too much. Like, I think I had like one incidence of it in the first act of the game, which I think I even mentioned when it got to it, but that was quite a while ago, so I'm not going to remember every little detail I covered as I start moving around my scouts to try and get a bit more explored. I try and keep Famitsu because she can find new scouts and it's always better to have more. Over this way, this optional path that you think would lead to loot, it doesn't, it just leads to new enemies. So I fight them for wasting my time of getting me over here, but there really wasn't much of a need to go over there, so oh well. And for some reason I decided to fight this thing. I don't need to pass me, carry on. But there's a lot I'd love to... Oh no, there is an item you got to do some finicky jumping for. See, there's one of these as well, so it's going to be here a while. I said, but if they ever did a, like... I've got a feeling they're working on Nep 5. But if they do release a Nep 5, I wouldn't mind them having some darker elements in it again, because like the second game, Mark 2 or Rebirth 2, did have quite a lot of darker themes in it that I felt like were quite nicely handled. Not all of them hit the mark perfectly, but like stuff like the whole of CFW Brave's story arc and what he meant and what he represented and how it reflected onto Uni and her development really worked. Having the whole first chapter, having Nepgear being traumatized from being tortured, they explored it kinda well. I say kinda because after chapter 1 it's kinda dropped. But they did a good job of exploring it, and this game, although maybe not to the same extent, as we get Celestial Severance, it's level 40, we need to get it, hell yeah. This game has its dark moments, but it's not as dark, but I'd love to see them just be that little bit darker again. Yeah, still have the Nep humour and giggles, because it showed the second game, they can kind of get away with still having a bit of a giggle whilst being dark. So, why not? Make it a bit darker. And for God's sake, don't let any Dimension exclusive characters not come back. Let Uzume come back in the next game. Let Plutio come back from the third game.
We've found you, Demon King. As his name suggests, he has an unseemly and sinister appearance.
Vert, this isn't the Demon King. It's a monster from Zero Dimension.
Are you certain?
It's not exactly the same type, but it's the same species as the one Neptune and I fought before. But why a Zero Dimension monster?
We can consider the reasons later. Right now, our priority is to defeat this threat to Leanbox.
Right!
Yeah, just in case you somehow, by some miracle, didn't realize that all the monsters that are bizarre that everyone's been encountering are from Zero Dimension, there is the cementation of that piece, with Netgear saying, no, this is from Zero Dimension.
It is my turn.
Which is a part of their plan to try and make it that every story has some different threads that only they discover in that. Like, in only, I think it was Noir's, you learnt the name Affimax. You don't know what they mean or what they do per se, but you learnt the name Affimax. Whilst here in Verts, you're learning that all the monsters that keep on invading are from Zero Dimension. Which, to be fair, does work and makes sense once we get the context much later on. And it's actually a relatively clever twist. I enjoy what it is. Also, this is Celestial Severance, and yeah. Look at that shit. It did a health bar and a half in one attack.
It is my turn.
Celestial Severance is one of those attacks that I think I mentioned it before, but I'll explain it again now. We've actually got it in use. I consider it like an ultimate attack, because in the previous games, when there was an extra meter that wasn't the SP bar called the EXE, there were special attacks you could only use with the EXE. And what made the EXE attack special is that they did a different animation that had extra hits on it and a different final blow if it was used during a boss fight. With Netgear here being the example, I'll tell you, so, like, when we go through it, she'll start cutting through and doing the attack, but when she does the explosion, which is coming up now, that's where the attack would end. The boss would just explode. Well, in the boss variant, she shoots the cannon at it as well to get the extra damage off, which then detonates and fucking destroys the thing. That's what I mean. All the ultimate attacks have extra steps on their animation to hit a few extra times to get extra damage out. In the original game, it wasn't a boss-specific thing. It was the second game onwards that made it boss-specific. Before then, it was just being goddess form. So you could just show up to any old plain old Dogu or Baby Bug or just some weakling and just use your ultimate attack and ridiculously whip out damage. Like, it wasn't too hard to get the trophies for hitting like 100,000 damage. But anyway, this thing's already dead, the Salvaria. It's not a difficult boss at all. I know I say this a lot, but there really isn't that many difficult bosses for most of this game. It's only during like the end of Act 2 and going into Act 3 that it really starts to pick up at all. I know the original version of V2 was harder, but I'm waiting to play the remake to show off the extra stuff, so here's what we got.
This is no Demon King.
Well, now that we have defeated it, what do we do?
Esha wouldn't believe us if we merely told her it's not the Demon King. We'll just have to carry it back to the Basilicom.
We have to carry this disgusting body?
Don't jest. I'd never touch it. Let's contact them and ask them to come pick it up. And we may as well take advantage of it if we can.
I didn't expect the Demon King to be captured this quickly, but I guess I should have expected this from a CPU and a CPU candidate.
Of course.
I didn't think she'd actually believe that thing was the Demon King.
You're the only one who knows its true identity, so why wouldn't she believe it?
What?
I highly doubt you'd solely reward us with words of thanks after we captured the Demon King, would you?
I see. You desire a reward. Then allow me to grant your requests. To praise you for this success, I will reward you with anything you wish.
Anything, you say? Anything at all?
Yes.
I wish for all of Leanbox's, no, all of the world's limited edition games with all of the pre-order bonus items. Of course, not only mainstream games, but also the packaged versions of online and mature adult games.
Verd! What are you doing asking for such personal desires? Didn't we discuss how we'd ask for a Leanbox if she'd give us a reward?
Huh? Oh, you've misunderstood, Nepgear. That was, of course, a joke. Yes, it was just a little joke.
It didn't sound like one.
They say in order to fool your enemy, you must first fool your allies.
That doesn't apply to this situation!
What a rowdy lot. If you want Lanebox so much, you can take it.
Huh?
What? How serious is this statement of yours?
Now that the Demon King has been captured, I have no reason to keep this nation or my standing in it. Do as you wish.
We did it, Verd!
I didn't expect to have Leanbox returned to me so easily.
Now I can finally make my most important wish come true, Isha.
Isha?
Excuse us, Esha. We have a report on the Demon King.
Yes? What is it? Go on, speak.
First, concerning his condition, it looks as if he's not unconscious, but already dead.
What?
We investigated his body composition thoroughly. As you know, I possess a keen sense of taste, and my tongue tells me this is just a regular monster.
What do you mean? Are you telling me this is not the Demon King?
It both is and isn't.
You mean to say what we thought was the Demon King was only called so, but it was really just an ordinary monster?
That's about right.
I see.
Wait, Esha, where are you going?
What's the meaning of this? That wasn't a Demon King?
Don't be so upset. That used to be feared as a Demon King, back then.
You tricked me.
Tricked? Weren't you the one who misunderstood me? So, what will you do now? You've run out of time, haven't you? Then I'll tell you of one last resort, but the price will be steep.
I thought it was going well, but it was exposed at the very last second.
I'm sure there's another way. I'll keep helping you until you resume control of Leanbox. Let's do our best, okay?
Right. I'm sure we will perform wonderfully. Thank you, Nepgear. Oh no. If I do get Leanbox back, then Nepgear will be forced to return home to Planetoon. It might be better for things to stay as they are. For eternity.
Verd? Did you just mumble something slightly strange and disturbing?
No, you must be hearing things. We've been working non-stop for a while, so you must be tired.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't hearing things.
That's my cell phone. Strange. It's rare for Esha to text me.
She does usually call instead. Even I've noticed that. What does it say?
This is Isha. Please stop Esha. That's it.
Oh, so Isha probably sent it from Esha's phone. That makes sense. Wait, who's Isha?
I believe I heard Esha whisper that name to herself fairly recently. Oh, I just received another. Esha has taken 1,000,000 ran pigs to the Golden Summit. There's no time. You need to stop her.
I wonder who she is.
I don't know. Although if she's using Esha's communicator, then she must be someone close to her.
Do you have any ideas? Have you seen anyone that might be her around?
No idea. Esha was always alone whenever we met. There's no use meditating on this now. We must hurry and locate Esha.
But what's the Golden Summit? Have you ever been there before, Verd?
No, that must be new. No such place existed with that name before. There is one new place that has appeared ever since Goldthird, Esha, has started ruling this nation.
Oh! Would that be...
Yes, if my hunch is correct, it must be one of those 4 golden towers that have appeared in game industry.
Well, I guess we've got our final objective again, you know, go storm the Golden Summit. It seems to be the final piece of every episode so far. Oh well, next time on Neptunia VIIR, we'll give chase to Esha on Isha's request to try and stop whatever mad plan she seems to be enacting. But until then, take care.